Hey guys, happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend with your family. Oh my goodness, the weather is beautiful here in Charleston. So I wanted to jump on and share a little bit of my story. A couple things happened over the weekend that I had that little whisper and that little voice saying, oh my gosh, it was kind of a wake-up call, a reality check, like, wow, your life today is so different than it was 7 years ago. Emmylou this morning, so Julian was out of town this weekend, so I had the girls, and Emmylou woke up this morning and said, Mommy, this was the best weekend ever. And I thought, oh my gosh, it really was the best weekend ever. And it makes me want to cry thinking about, what this weekend would have looked like had I still been, living the way that I was 7 years ago. Julian, even, he was with my grandparents, and he sent a picture of us, I think it was about 6.5, 7 years ago, and he said, Fluffy. We're both fluffy. And I looked at that picture, I'm like, oh my gosh, we are both fluffy. We're both inflamed. And we laugh about it, just our journey, looking at pictures back even when I was in high school, or when, 10 years ago, 7 years ago. I mean, the pictures, I fluctuate, my weight fluctuated, 50 pounds, which is crazy. So when Emmylou said this was the best weekend ever, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was the best weekend ever. And it's the weekend before Halloween. And for me, I'll share a little bit of my journey, but this weekend, for so many years, as many years as I can remember, was the beginning of a vicious cycle. I mean, the whole year I struggled, but I mean, y'all know the candy, the sugar, the treats, the holiday stuff, parties. I mean, it begins this week. And I struggled for years, the guilt and the failure and the shame and that vicious cycle, oh my gosh, like the candy, I can't buy the candy until the weekend before, and then I would buy the candy, and then I would binge on it, and then I would spend hours at the gym. It was punishment. I mean, exercise was punishment for years. And then I would wake up and do it all over again. Y'all, that is not a way to live. And I cannot imagine having kids. I'm like, oh my gosh, my kids they will do what we do, not what we say. So we just have a huge opportunity and responsibility to live the way that we want them living. So a little bit of my story. So, I was struggling my whole life growing up. High school, I was anorexic. I worked out way more than I should. I would wake up at like 4:30 in the morning to go for a run. Just food controlled me. It impacted everything. It impacted my relationships with friends, what I did or did not do, relationships with family, activities. I mean, it impacted everything. So I struggled with that. I went off to college and, definitely put on some pounds to be able to go off to college. But those thoughts and behaviors and just unhealthy relationship with food and diet and exercise definitely still continued up until, about 6.5 years ago. By the grace of God, got pregnant. I didn't have my cycle for years. I was a nutritional mess. I was a wreck. I did every diet out there, every workout out there. I remember I would pray, okay, God, show me. I know there's a better way. It was just this vicious cycle, restrict, binge, spend hours at the gym to wake up and do it all over again. I was a mess. I was exhausted. I was living off of caffeine, diet Mountain Dew, sugar. I'm a speech therapist, and for all of those other therapists, y'all know me. I was eating the reinforcers, Skittles all day to get through the day. I was restricting eating the sugar, and then I would come home and I would binge, and then weekends I would do really good during the week, and then on the weekends I would binge and wake up Monday morning and feel the shame cycle, and it just continued. It was an awful way to live, and I just felt like I couldn't get out. And it impacted, like I said, everything, relationships, everything, what I wanted to do, if I wanted to go out with girlfriends, date nights, everything. The way you feel about yourself really impacts the way you show up in the world. So I was pregnant by the grace of God, and I was terrified of the future. I thought, oh my gosh, I have this huge responsibility to feed this baby. I was terrified. And so a friend shared with me an easy way to bridge that nutritional gap that I knew I had. I was nutritionally starving. And so I started swallowing some powdered produce. And my husband, I said yes, not for me, but for the little girl growing inside of me. I wanted to do better. And my husband is type 1 diabetic, and I was scared for his future. He would not eat any green vegetables. So this was an easy way, powdered produce, 30 pieces of vine ripened produce, ground up and put into a capsule or fruit snack. And I said, sign me up. I knew I needed it. I knew I desperately needed it. And my husband needed it. So we just started swallowing this powdered produce, and we started feeling amazing. And a bunch of things happened, over the course of a couple years. But we started really doing some research and being a part of a community where now I'm part of this community where we get to educate people about the power of whole foods and why our bodies need plants to thrive, why our bodies need the variety. Just educating. I was educated about, what is food? It's fuel. Our bodies were designed to eat food to fuel our bodies. We get thousands of new cells every single day, and our cells, the building blocks for those cells, is the food that we feed ourselves and our families. So when I kind of made that connection between food and fuel, and I started feeling better, and we started learning about food, and we started making simple changes, it's amazing. We were alive again, and I had an amazing pregnancy. Really I started feeding my brain, imagine that, the food that it needed, and those consuming, controlling behaviors and thoughts surrounding food that literally controlled my life, controlled my day, were not so controlling anymore. And we were on mission to just start feeding our bodies like we loved ourselves, and made simple changes over time. And, here we are 7 years later, and I am on mission to share that food is powerful. Food is medicine. And I feel like when you have the resources, that's what we give people, the resources to help people feed their families well, the education, and the community or accountability, magic happens. And that is what happened to me. I knew that I was going to show up for people before I showed up for myself. And when I joined this mission, because I found myself again, every single day I'm working to be a better version of myself. And it is so much fun doing life with people that just love others. They serve others. And being in community of people where I get to learn every single day. They share mom hacks and resources. It is so much fun. And so that little whisper, that little voice has said, Lord, jump on, share what you have with this world. And that is what I'm going to do. I am on mission to help people feel alive again. We all deserve that, y'all. And it does not have to be hard. And we are here to support you. So you heard over our journey, we made simple changes, one simple change at a time. Today we have more energy than we did in our 20s. I had 2 beautiful, amazing textbook pregnancies. My husband's off of his statin. He's type 1 diabetic. He's off of his statin, his daily allergy pill. His A1C has gone from 7.6 to 6.6. We feel better. We both lost some pounds, and it's not about weight, but your body is the perfect size for the number of toxins your body houses. So your body is the perfect size for the number of toxins your body has. So when you start shredding those toxins, and you do that with antioxidants, you do that with plant nutrition, you're the perfect weight. And we just feel so amazing. And so Emmy Lou, our oldest, at age 18 months old, was diagnosed with the antibodies for type 1 diabetes. That will take your breath away. And what did they say? I said, well, what can we do? And they said, nothing. It's a matter of time. I said, no, it's not. I mean, we are going to change this. And that's where we really said, okay, food is medicine. And y'all, today her A1C is normal. Her grandmother's type 1 diabetic. Her dad's type 1 diabetic. She had all the antibodies for type 1 diabetes, and her A1C is normal today. That is the power of food. And y'all, that is the greatest gift I can give my kids, better DNA. And that is what we do. That is what we're doing. We can change these. You see these diseases in families, generation after generation after generation. Y'all, we can change that with nutrition. So that is why I am fired up to give people resources to make that happen in their families. And it is not hard. It is not hard. It does not have to be hard. So reach out. I would love to help your family, go from desperate to thriving. I mean, that's our story. And no, we are not perfect. I am a hot mess express, but it's amazing, this perfection piece that's alive and well in me, that perfectionism piece, which held me back for years. Today, I'm like, yep, I'm a hot mess express. I mean, we just get to show up in this world and encourage one another to be the best versions of ourselves. So, and we're all just doing our best. I totally get that. We don't need any judgment. No matter if you're, struggling. I mean, I met with a family that she's like, I don't even know what GMO is. I'm like, I know, I didn't either. It's so confusing. I did every diet out there, and it was just a vicious cycle. And I feel like I have the recipe now just to thrive and to have my kids thrive. And so people will say, what you do is a little bit different. I'm like, it is. We are on mission to change families. We are on mission to help the whole family get healthy. It's not just about mama being healthy. And we want mama healthy because mama's buying the grocery stores. Mama sets the tone. I love it. Mama's the thermostat for the household. If mama doesn't feel well, people know it. So it is important that we as mamas take care of ourselves, and the self-care and the stinking thinking, being able to work on our mindset, that is huge. And honestly, being a part of this community has helped me with that. I mean, I am growing and challenged every single day because of the people that I get to do life with. And that's what they're doing. They serve and love others so hard. And that's what I want to be in this world, a light for other people. So it starts with us. But so I jumped on because that was on my heart, but I also wanted to share, we started one simple change at a time, but starting next Monday, we have, it's what's called a Shred 10, and we really focus on those healthy principles that we have adopted over the course of a couple of years. But a lot of people say, okay, we are ready to feel amazing. I am ready to help my family, and oftentimes they're sick all the time. They maybe have chronic allergies or autoimmune or diabetes or, eczema or something that's going on. And we get to people say, okay, we're ready. We're jumping in both feet, and we are going to do this, and we are going to turn my family's health around. And it can be done. My story, my family story, is a testimony to that. So starting next Monday, we have a group that, I mean, there's so many of us that we get to just 10 days being really intentional and focused on our health and making simple changes that you go from desperate to thriving, and you have energy, and more, if you're constipated, you're more regular, skin improves. I mean, just so many different positive changes, and we do it together in community, and we get to take our health back. So if you are interested in that, reach out and I can help get you set up and started. We get to start next Monday. So it's a perfect time in between Halloween and Thanksgiving. And really, I mean, slowly, I mean, a lot of people, they live this Shred 10 lifestyle because they feel amazing. So, okay, I love y'all. Have a great week. Have a great, happy Halloween with your families.